They came armed with weapons to do just that. And of course, who lit the flame? Who poured gasoline on that pile of burning citizens? Was the former president. All the while, he sat there doing nothing to protect. Mike Pence didn't even bother to give him a call to say, are you safe? And of course, remember, the president was not whisked to a safe room.
No.
Why was it? Why didn't the Secret Service immediately say, look, our democracy is under attack. It's under siege. We have to protect you. Why didn't they do that? That would have been the first thing you do unless you were in on it.
Yeah, I mean, instead, the former president actually tweeted out saying, in fact, the vice president should be held culpable, should be held accountable for not overturning the results of the election, and remained silent, I believe, for 189 minutes or so until he finally came out and asked the rioters to calm down, to go home. But that's a heck of a long time.
You, he said.
Exactly. Go home. We love you. I remember standing outside the Capitol and hearing that and just being shocked at that as we watched the people continue to storm the Capitol. Congresswoman, we talk a lot about former Pence General Counsel Greg Jacob, his testimony there. We've played some of that leading up to you. Retired conservative judge J. Michael Luttig as well, and particularly this warning from Luttig, which was also incredibly chilling to the preparedness for what is to come in 2024. And talking about the former president's supporters right now and what they are preparing for, an open site, quote, an attempt to overturn that 2024 election in the same way that they attempted to overturn the 2020 election, but to, in fact, succeed. Are we prepared for something like that? What do you make of a warning from Luttig?
Well, I thought Judge Luttig's presentation, again, was shocking. You could see, I think, in him just the pain with which he was feeling for our country, for our Constitution, for the rule of law, a warning to all of us and to every voter of a would-be Trump candidate, that our democracy is in peril, and it remains in peril because in 2022, 2024, they're going to continue to try to do the same thing, to lie about the results of an election. And let's not forget to make money from those lies. Donald Trump will be a grifter to his last breath, raising $290 million or so on the big lie to claim power, to hold on to power by a single person, and to line his pockets yet again. So I hope everybody listens to the honorable judge who, with such halting conversation, warned our country that we could be up against revolution.
So here's the ultimate question, right? The million-dollar question, which is, will the former president, in fact, be held accountable? We know the attorney general is watching this very closely, this testimony very closely. We know his top prosecutors as well are watching this testimony incredibly closely. We know the January 6th committee cannot bring criminal charges against the former president. But it seems as if the way in which they are laying this entire thing out, right, this story, I should say, out, all roads are leading back to the former president and his intent, knowingly misleading the American people to believe, in fact, this was a stolen election, as he said. Do you believe the DOJ should and will bring criminal charges against the former president?
Well, I certainly hope so. Let me put it that way. The 1-6 committee is doing a masterful job putting together this horrifying narrative of American citizens incited by a sitting president to attack their democracy, to kill top leaders in succession of the presidency. So we will have so many facts. I'm also very happy that, as you saw reported just a couple days ago, the Department of Justice has asked for all the transcripts for the more than 1,000 people they have interviewed, I'm sure, for documents that they have collected. So I have a confidence that our Department of Justice is looking at every single piece of this, allowing the 1-6 committee to complete its work, write its report, and obviously report it to us, the American people, and then go to prosecutions at the highest level where they are deemed justified. I'm a person of faith, and I really do believe that all of those involved in this will get their due. They will be duly prosecuted under the law. If we don't do that, if our Department of Justice and other DAs, et cetera, attorneys general, do not do that, then we are abandoning our rule of law.
Congresswoman Madeleine Dean, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right.